Good evening to all of you. Before we start today's session, please feel free to do event check-in. This will give you access to additional resources and information about events that we are running on Reactor, which are around similar topics to today's session. I will share the event check-in link with the event ID in the Q&A section shortly. Also, we have launched our Reactor group on LinkedIn. Please feel free to join the group to get the latest update on session happening on Reactor. I will share the joining link soon. Thank you all once again for joining us today. My name is Rashmita and I'm the event planner for Microsoft Reactor Bengaluru, India. This session will run over the next 120 minutes, including Q&A. The session is being recorded and will be uploaded to our Reactor YouTube channel within 3 to 4 days. I will share the link to our YouTube channel in the chat section soon. Quick word on a code of conduct. We display this at all Microsoft Reactor regions that we run, and it's just a reminder to be aware of others. Key thing to take out here is to be respectful of other people's views, understanding of differences, being kind and considerate in the way you engage. The chat will be open throughout and we do encourage you all to participate. Also, please keep your mics muted during the session. I would now like to welcome Vivek, our speaker for today's session. Vivek is a tech enthusiast and an open source contributor with around 15 years of experience in the software industry. He works at Microsoft as a senior cloud advocate. But for now, I will hand over to Vivek to begin the session. Over to you, Vivek.
My network is really bad, I believe, today because I could hear you in bits and pieces, but I'm not sure whether people can hear me.
Uh,
Is it
yeah,
better? If
it
people can
is better, but there is some kind of echo.
Yeah, just a minute. Let me just try this. How about now? Can you hear me?
It's better. It's better, Vivek. Much better.
Okay, perfect. So, anyways, let me share my screen. Okay. So, as noted by Rashmita, there is a check-in link, and please go back and key in the event ID. That's not the event ID. I'm sure Rashmita has will share the event ID in the chat. I haven't updated the slide, by the way, so don't use that event ID. There are a couple of content. If you go and check in, you will be able to access this content. And then also please join our LinkedIn group because we do update a lot of our events, a lot of the session recordings and other upcoming events and different things which we are doing at the Reactor, like the Azure Kubernetes Day and other stuff. So please go back and join our LinkedIn group. So people who have joined for Azure Happy Hour for the first time, and this is something which uh, I do run almost every Friday. Either we have some guests or it is me who is running this event almost every Friday because some Fridays we do take off because of leave and other things which is there. Uh, just bit of background to me. I started my career in 2006 with as a software developer at IBM, and then a bit of DevOps, and then I started my own company as well, and I was part of DigitalOcean as a senior developer advocate. Joined Microsoft as a product marketing manager, and currently in senior cloud advocate at cloud and AI engineering team. So there was a question previously, are we going to cover a couple of things with respect to Prometheus and everything? Uh, the most important thing here is what we are trying to do here from last almost 7 talks which we have done. This is the 7th talk. But last six talks, I think we have covered bits and pieces of the DevOps workflow. So this is a DevOps workflow for Kubernetes, and specifically from a production perspective. When we started the discussion, we started by defining what is DevOps, and then we started with containers. We did a deep dive sessions on containers, container registry, use of that, and also we did a deep dive session on Kubernetes and other things. Very how do you set it up with service discovery, storage, everything we discussed specifically when we did Kubernetes, and then. We spent almost one session on build and release as well. So it was more from GitHub Actions and also Azure DevOps. We almost spent almost two sessions with both of these because I used GitHub Actions as well with Terraform, which we did last week as well. So both of we have been covering all of these specific areas for DevOps workflow, and today specifically I'm covering the monitoring section. Um, as you see, the next Azure Happy Hour, which is on 26th, I believe, 26th November. We are going to put all of this into perspective. So when I say put all of this into perspective, we'll take a simple microservice application, use GitHub Actions to deploy, and we're going to use Kubernetes Dev Cluster, which is the bridge which is there for a developer to go back and make changes to the cluster, like play around with the cluster from a dev cluster perspective, and then use the Terraform to spin up a new cluster if there is a issue, and then we will use some certain policies and probably integrate uh, all these Prometheus, Grafana, or Azure monitoring systems and other things. So from today's session perspective, I want to focus on Azure monitoring, understanding of Azure monitoring. Pretty much whatever you can do with Azure monitoring, you can use it with Prometheus and Grafana as well. I'm going to show you a couple of things with them as well. But if you are looking for installation steps and other, because it's like time consuming, right? You go and just keep keying those commands which is there. That's something which that's something which I'll share the GitHub repo which is there. You can go back and definitely use the GitHub repo for that. So coming back to the session, important part is I have the dashboard. Even before I go here, for all these sessions, it's on my GitHub repo. I have made sure that it has references, it has recordings. Wherever there is a need of code, we have added the code. But that is something which is already there. So basically, you can go and access whatever sessions we have been doing previously. So all the data is here with the recordings, by the way. So you can go back and refer the recordings as well. And there are references to it as well. So that is the reason it's, just do the check-in, you'll get all these access to all these GitHub repos and everything. So that's one. And the most important thing is I have the setup ready. So basically, we have been doing this, quite like last almost, as I told you, six sessions. We have been running Kubernetes. So I have done over and over how to create Kubernetes, cluster and everything. So I don't want to waste time in creating a Kubernetes cluster. So it's important to understand once I have the cluster, what needs to be done. So most important thing about DevOps is it's not just about building your application, it's also about monitoring it and making sure it is up and running, your application monitoring, and all those log management, everything. So combining everything into one discussion, it's a very long process right? So I've divided this into two now because I felt it's too much of information and it's very difficult to cover it in 1 hour. So I'm pushing a couple of things in the next session because I want to make sure we understand the complete execution because at least the Prometheus and other things, you can see much better when there is a microservice application and when there is other applications, and we can also see the distributed tracing of Azure or the distributed tracing application insights, which is there at the Azure monitoring as well. So it's quite a big topic to have. So I pushed it to the next session. So it's on 26th. I will cover almost everything which I showed you in the architecture so that we will be able to get the overall picture of execution. So from here, I have the Kubernetes cluster. So when I say Kubernetes cluster, I also have container registry. So I have built my own container registry, which is part of the Azure. So we have seen that how to use it. Everything is available out there. So go back and refer if you want to see how to how to create it. It's very simple. And I have the cluster. So now all I want to do is to monitor this cluster. I have an application running on the cluster. So this is a simple application. I've used the I've been using this code while we are doing a lot of demos as well. So this is a simple deployment which we have done specifically from the execution perspective. It's a simple backend which is a Redis backend which has a front end which does connect to that, and it executes certain things, and it has a load balancer on top of that as a service, and we are exposing it as a load balancer. So it's this is the application. um, if I have to click, yeah. So this is the application, so you can reset it, and we will try and see. We'll try to put some load on it. Everybody can. I can paste the IP address, and you can just play around, and we can play around this. Um, so while this is there, I have the application running on the Kubernetes. It's very simple to run this application. All I need to go here is to go to workload and just click on add, and add with YAML. I can just click on add with YAML and then go back and use the code which is here and just copy this. You can, in fact, if you want to run it, you can give it this different names and just add, and it will just create. So it's a simple way to set up, your YAML, just get started with the YAML, right? So, I have the application running. I have the Kubernetes cluster. Very important thing. It looks like. Hey, Rashmita, can you hear me?
Yes, Vivek, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Vivek.
I know there was a network issue. It just got dropped off.
Oh, but I could hear you.
No, this is on my other machine. I don't know why this machine I'm not able to.
Okay.
Just give me a minute. Again, I am connecting.
Sure, sure. Okay.
Yeah, I'll just take this off. Sorry, folks, for this whole thing. Okay, so where were we? So you can hear me, right?
Yes, Vivek.
Perfect. Okay, cool. Let me go back to this. So we have the application running. Simple code is there, it's running. But the most important thing here to note is by default, when you create a Kubernetes cluster, so let me go back to the cluster creation. So when you create a Kubernetes cluster in Azure, whenever you select anything and give any name to it, VMO if it is there, and then we will say this. This is a simple way to get it started. This is auto scaling. Then you're selecting the node pool, virtual scale that, virtual node. Probably next session we can also add virtual node into this discussion. So this is okay. Networking is also okay. This is it. But this is the most important thing when you're creating a cluster. You can enable it later stage as well. You can go back and enable later also. But while you are creating a cluster, you can enable container monitoring. And when you enable, a lot of things gets enabled. Even log analytics, everything gets enabled. And by the way, I was showing you the policies, right? You can enable the policies as well. If you see the DevOps workflow, structure which I was showing, you can just go back here and enable policies, and that can be done easily with just while creating the cluster. So I have done this already. While creating the cluster, I've already enabled. This is by default available for you, and you can also disable it, enable it whenever whatever requirement you might have. So now, since I enabled it, I have the cluster. I have the cluster, and these are the couple of things which is you can do with the monitoring, and it's more interesting is to see the insights. So when you click on the insights, obviously all these data is available for you. So this is nothing but the CPU utilization. There are a couple of memory utilization. These are all averages you want to take, and also there is node count, how many nodes we are using, and in also node specifically how many are ready, how many are which is not running and not ready for execution. Everything is available. Active pod count, how many pods we are running, and everything is available here. There are a couple of pods which we are running. So there are other tabs as well, which is very specific to couple of metrics which you want to enable. So these are couple of things which is there, and then there is controller, there is containers. So from your monitoring perspective, when you have these clusters enabled and you have application running, you just want to go back and see all these different areas, right? So basically there is what's happening in each of these controllers which is running, and with each of these things which are running on the system. And then you also want to know what's happening at the cluster containers, what's happening at different levels. So you can click on these pod, and you get pod level information as well. So this is almost similar to what you get on the Grafana and other things. But obviously, Grafana is very rich in visualization, right? And obviously Prometheus is as a backend, like it's a alert manager. It's just a you will use it when there is there is a issue which is happening at the at your applications, and it creates an alert. We will see that as an example or something when we do it with the microservices next week. And this is the list of pods which is running within the controller which we set it up. We have set it up, right? So basically, this is nothing but a simple Prometheus pod which is running, and it has a couple of things running with respect to the containers, how many containers running under it, and stuff like that. So it's basically a monitoring system, and you can create alerts as well. I can go back here and create a alert rule. Um, so let us go and create one and see how exactly it works. So basically, I have selected the resource, that is cluster, to create an alert. And this is very important because when you have the cluster, you want to run an alert when number of pods is less than something. I want to create an alert, and I want to get an information back to my emails or SMS or anything, whatever you set it up. So let us create a condition. Okay, let's go back here and say, um, I want metrics, um, say pods, pod count, okay, and we will say Kubernetes namespace, default, under default, uh, we have what's running agents, any agent, select all agents, it's okay. And okay, let's say controller name. Where is that? Yeah. So I'm running this Azure Web Front, which is for this. Okay. So this is the pod which is we are taking, and then we are selecting namespace is equal to default. I think it's part of default namespace, and the node we can have it all, it's okay, and let it be that. So we can just go and create that less than or something, average less than some threshold, less than 9 or something. So whenever the average pod count is less than 9 for this specific pod, it starts creating alert for me. So I think if we go ahead and just create it, and then I need to add an action group. So I already have one. So I've given one. So it's just nothing but what things you need to have. So basically, I'm creating a group. Resource group is DevOps for all. This is the resource group where I have the Kubernetes cluster and all the things ready. And then there is action group name, display name. Once you give that, you can select what kind of notifications you want and other things, and then a couple of actions. So let me give it a name. So then only you'll be able to see. So email or push notifications. So I'll say email me, SMS me, or anything. How whatever information you want to provide. So I already have one. Um, I already have one. So okay, I will go back to add actions. I'll just give mine and some rules, less pods, uh, pod BS spot. Okay, so I'll just give a couple of things and severity and other things. You can set it up as a severe or something and then just create an alert. So this is how you can just create an alert and you get an alert every time there is alert is sent. So it's very simple. You have a cluster, you have an application running on the cluster. When you create the cluster, you have enabled the container insights. This is a container insights, not just Azure monitoring, but also container insights enabling. And if you read through some of the documentations, which I'm going to share in my GitHub repo as well, the container insights is a specific you know specific area where we have launched it only for containers. If you can see here, uh, you can see only specifically to containers, not just the node, but also there are containers and other things. You can also see for clusters, view all clusters as well, which is monitoring from a overall monitoring perspective. So you can go and monitor the cluster itself, not just this cluster, but other clusters as well. So it will show you what is the status of this cluster. If you are managing more than 5 to 10 clusters, you will have bunch of things to do, right? So that's one area. And let me go back and show you what's happening here. So we have the action, manage alert. Let me go back here and view it in the metrics. So show you something related to metrics. Is my screen lagging a lot? Because I saw it in the chat.
It is little slow.
Okay, I'm sorry, folks. There's some issue with my laptop. I'm not able to figure out what's wrong. Because on the other laptop it's fine, but this one I don't know what's happening. Anyways, so metrics. I'll be slow as well. I'll go very slow. Metrics I've added. I mean, I've not added anything here, but it's more. You can see, a couple of things. You can select cluster health, and then the other things you can see through metrics itself. So there are many things you can do. As I told you, pod. If you pick the pod and you can add, what's the pod count. This is the number of pod counts, and then it will share the details for you. And these are the couple of options you have. So to understand this is very simple. You can do it as an average, to either you can do it as a maximum or minimum. The measure metrics, different available metrics for you, whichever is specifically you are trying to track. You would try and do it. We will make sure when we do the next session, we will add couple of metrics which is required for the microservice architecture. Like what are those couple of things which is required, and we will pick those things. And this is the container. Um, Again, there are a couple of board and in the other things which we are going to show, but this is very similar to what it is. And let me go back from the inside perspective, from the alert perspective. And I'm just waiting for this to show up because there is a lot of lag for me.
Vivek, even your voice is breaking continuously.
My portal has got stuck. I don't know what's. Okay, there is recommended alerts. Can you see that? Not yet. Can you hear me, Rashmita?
Yes, Vivek. Now I can speak. I mean, I can hear you. I don't know whether you were speaking or not.
Yeah, I was speaking. Okay, so uh, I'm really sorry. So there is, important thing which I just want to cover so that we don't miss out is the recommended alerts. I hope that is visible. And when you click on the recommended alerts, right, um, it gives you a list of alerts which you can enable. So this is very interesting. So if you can see this, you can enable almost every other things which is required. Just give it a minute until it shows up. So this is, this is the list of things which is there. You can just go back and enable this. If you are looking at complete job count or something else which is there, you can just enable all these things whichever you are interested in. So basically, it's kind of an alert which you can create, which is already available for you. You don't have to create every time the new alerts which is supposed to be there. So that's something which you can easily do. So if you see there is one error which is critical, right? So which was we created because we had said the alert was supposed to be for average 9. It is only one which is running, so it is started throwing an alert for me, and it is obviously would have sent an email to my email ID which I had provided, right? So it's very simple. As I told you, it's just go and create one and add it. So let me go back now and show you how to get started uh, with the Grafana and Prometheus as well. So this is a simple, these are things which I wanted to cover because when you have the cluster, when you just enable container insights on the cluster with the Azure monitoring, you have a couple of options here. From an insight perspective, already available. It already creates everything for you, and there is alert for you, and there is metrics which you want to drive. All these things you can add it into a dashboard. You can add each of these things into a dashboard and view it as a dashboard. That would be a probably a exercise for you. You go back home or you go back wherever you are and just go and try it that and see how exactly this works, right? So um, you know obviously log management are things, but let me walk you through how you can work with Grafana, Prometheus, and other things as well. So let me show you this particular link. This is our lab. This is on Azure. GitHub repo. Can you? Okay, yeah, it's coming up. So GitHub repo. This is on my GitHub. I mean, not my GitHub repo. It's on Azure GitHub repo. So if you go to that GitHub repo, um, you can see that there is a lab which is to add Prometheus Grafana to AKS, right? So it's a this is the steps. Somebody was asking me whether you will run through all the steps and show me how to set it up and stuff like that, but uh, it's just a waste of time trying to show you the steps. It's already here. All the steps are here, so it's very simple. You just go and just get this directory and then just put that helm, add this into the helm charts and add the add it to the stable repository. Just update your helm. Helm is nothing but a package manager, packaging of all these things, and just run the Prometheus operators and other things, and everything you get it back. And you can just go through these steps, and you will be able to access the Prometheus and everything. So I will just walk you through the how the Grafana is set up. I've already set this up, so I'm not spending time, but I'm going to share you this specific um GitHub repo for you to go back and drive. You can go back and create those settings for yourself. So let me come back here and I'll show you. Obviously, this is a Grafana setup already um, with the cluster. So I'm showing only Grafana because um, from the Prometheus perspective, the alert manager and things, I want to use it with microservices, which we are going to do it in the next session. So I'm not going in depth with that, but it is already up and running, and it is also available on the Grafana dashboard itself. So if you already have Grafana as a visualizing tool, you might not I don't need have a visualization set up with the Prometheus. Prometheus data works with Grafana, and that is being pulled here now, and you can actually see a couple of things. We will go and see this, and let me click on manage. Um, so you can add different things, so already available. It's not something which I've created. It's a very simple. When you create this uh, when you just install Prometheus operator, it runs with the Grafana dashboard as well. So it's nothing which I have created out of the box. It's already available out there, and I will show you a couple of things. It does give you almost all the things which I showed you in the other dashboard, right? In the Azure monitoring dashboard. So basically, if you are looking at say workload and what's happening at the workload level, it's the same information, but it is having a very good visualization and other things, and works well with Prometheus to build an alert manager system, which is very similar to the alert system which we built as well. And this is the pod which I was running, the workload which is out there, right? So when I click on this web front, you can see the CPU usage and what's happening with the code in the last 5 minutes. Nothing is happening there, so that is the reason. So let's put that and just give it some clicks. Let's open drill down to pod level. Refresh. It is using it constantly with the same output. And what is the memory usage? So you can see that, you can basically, you can see these information. You can change these information as well. When you see my code, you can go back here and add this code, right? There is CPU utilization, which I have said this is the memory and other things, and this is the limit and other things which I have provided here in the code. That's what exactly is being displayed here in the memory quota, right? So all these information is available. Let us see, is there any, let's go back. So if you can put in some traffic to this site, so if people who have joined in just key in 20.84.235.30, and just click on the, we'll create some kind of traffic and see what happens there. That will give us some data. This is the IP address. Just copy the IP address and key in the data. I want to see what happens when that you're keying in. Let's keep refreshing this. Okay, last 5 minutes. Is there any changes? Let's see, or we will see it on other in tools which we have. Manage. Or we will see it on the node. Default type is deployment, sources default. Let's go here. I'm trying to see if there is any data which changes the CPU usage. It's been very constantly using the same. I don't know why. Not sure. Is the backend is also using the same? Was somehow it is not pulling. Let me go and see the other one, which is there. Okay, this is the node. I'm selecting the node, and this is still CPU request is constant, and port level is also constantly. Okay, there were some changes in the port. Okay, so this is, I mean, this is you can set this as a dashboard to yourself and use it. Just give me a minute. When, let's see, pod and the namespace pod as well. Okay, this is default. This is wood front. Okay, go to pod level again. It looks like it's using the same amount of CPU utilization. At the same time, interesting. I'm just trying to see if any movement happens in the CPU utilization, but it is constant. Any other? So this is called live debugging. Uh, Let me open this workload once again and see if we had any workload. It is correct. It has picked it right. This pod which is running, but somehow this is constant again. Anyways, so this is how you can, I mean, obviously you can, if you have more resources, more pods running, more active um, sites which is running, it will all show up here. You can also build one. In fact, if you go here into the panel, then you can add one new, and then we can see to our own. You can run it in Prometheus, or you can run directly Grafana and other things. I'll show you Azure monitoring integrated with Grafana here, but in fact, this is something which we can easily build it. Um, by the way, this is the one which is already available. As I told you, this is something which is already up and running, and you can see couple of different dashboards you can add, and you can see what's happening. And it's it's currently pulling couple of data, not pulling couple of data. Not sure why. Is it because um, of the settings which I have changed or something, but I'm not sure. It was picking a couple of minutes back. So, anyways, so this was, anyways, this is something which I have installed via the the Helm chart. But if you have to use Grafana in a different way as well, you can go to the portal and you can run you can just search for Grafana, and you can create a virtual box with Grafana installed on top of it and everything running on top of it. It's not a um, it's from the marketplace which where Grafana is available for you. And my internet is so slow today that it is not just showing up anything. Ah, I'm having trouble with the network. So, anyways, you can go and create it um, from the marketplace. Uh, just search for Grafana in marketplace, and you'll be able to create it. And when you create it, this is how it will look like. This is something which I've created from the uh, Grafana's directly marketplace. The one which I showed you here, it was the um, from the Helm, which was that, but this one is more from the marketplace where we have created it from. So here again, you can go back and explore things. Um, in fact, you can go and add new things. I've just added when you go, this will be the main page, right? When you log into Grafana, this will be the main page. Um, and here it says add your first data source. You can see this. I'm just loading it again because I'm not able to get the data itself. Just wait for the dashboard to come up. I'm just waiting. Okay, so there is add your first data source. When you click on this, you can choose your source, and you can see that Prometheus is at the top, and you can definitely go back and add Azure. So here is the Azure monitoring. And you can select this Azure monitoring here, and I've already selected that. That is the reason why you see in the manage a couple of things, right? So all these things have been added there. So anyways, let us go and explore. We will add a matrix. We will call a matrix. We'll have our own DevOps for all. I'm choosing the DevOps for all there, and then Kubernetes cluster, and then I'm calling it needs to be updated. I need to wait. Unfortunately, my network is so bad, it is not updating this. Okay, and now I'll say pause. You can say pod count. We can even say so you can see it's basically showing us from number of pods it is running and which is not running, and it's an average which it has taken. We can also see nodes, and we select here. If you can say, you can select your own explore. This is Prometheus also, if you want to understand Prometheus. So here is CPU usage. um, Interestingly, here I can able to capture the CPU usage um, of the node. Here I can see CPU threshold. I can give and see, try it out. Average. A threshold violation is not happening. So Memory working set is not exceeding percentage preview count. So this is how you can build your dashboard. So very simple. You can go here and create a dashboard, add an M panel, and say you're looking at DevOps for all, and just pick your say even container registry which is there. Just select container registries and just select um, successful push count total, and then you can see there will be some data from last 6 hours or something if there was one. So just give a title to it and you will be able to add, just save it, and you will be able to add this, say, container registry, right? So you just select container registry, save this. You can see this dashboard is coming up here, right? So this is simple. You can add simple way to add your dashboards. um, I'm just pushing couple of dashboards, say. Okay, I have something and I just save it, and then okay, I didn't give it a name, so it's like pod count, right? So just save this and you can see this here. So ultimately, what we are trying to do here is we have couple of things which we can add from our pod count and container registry and other things, right? So this is how you can build Grafana. Um, we are going to integrate a couple of things which with the Prometheus and other things which is from the microservice perspective in the next session, so that we understand the complete overall working of this, because uh, I just want to make sure that you understand the different things which are available out there for running your monitoring workflow, which is very important from the Azure perspective. So I'm going to, share this GitHub repo for you so that you can go back and obviously drive different things, and install and play around and other things, and come back next session where we are going to talk about the overall picture, right? So this is going to be fun because I'm hoping we'll have good network next week, and we will run through everything because I just want to make sure you know the complete DevOps workflow here. So the things which we have been doing in the past, we're going to combine everything and use with the monitoring and logging system, specifically from alert system. We already built an alert, by the way, um, using the Azure monitoring system, and I already started getting emails of that alert which we had set up. And similarly, Grafana is not really an you can build a lot of alerts and or something. So that is the reason why the Grafana and Prometheus are together a very powerful tool. Whenever there is an issue, Prometheus sends all those alerts through alert managers. I want to spend some time on that as well. So alert managers will send those information. But Grafana is a very amazing tool to build the dashboards, the visualization, right? Like the one which we were just building using this Grafana. So there are a couple of things which we will discuss in the next session. So I'll share the GitHub repo for you. That's one thing which I can definitely do. And while we are doing that, if at all, if you have any questions, let me know because I want to spend some time from the DevOps workflow perspective. Some questions basically. Um, Type in your questions or just um, you can also unmute and ask me those questions. But while you're doing that, I'm going to share that repo for you. Any questions? You can hear me, right?
Yes, Vivek.
Okay. I'm really sorry for today's some issue which is happening in my network. I don't know, and especially I don't know why it's on this laptop because other laptop is working fine. Not sure. I'm sharing the GitHub repo. Just give me a minute. While I'm doing that, if you have any questions, please go ahead and you can also type or you can also unmute and ask me those questions.
Hi Vivek.
Yes.
I have a question like in Azure, uh, monitoring already is there. So what is the purpose of using Grafana in that? I mean the difference when we monitoring alerts we can
It's
get.
kind of a yeah, it's kind of a buffet. So yeah, everything is available. It's also depends on your organization's choice, which one to pick and use. Um, I mean, in fact, even the next session which I will do, I will, touch upon distributed tracing as well. I mean, if you are really interested in deep dive session of distributed tracing, um, it's already on our Reactor YouTube channel. You can go through that as well, which Rashmita would have shared the YouTube channel. Um, that is also there. It's about having options. So basically, you have options in your enterprise or a startup's choice to use it, and most of them use the open source tools just to make sure that uh, they don't have the cloud providers dependencies, but it's like either ways you need infrastructure to run it. You are anyways going to use those infrastructure and the manageability of that and everything. So almost everything you what I showed you, like from the alert system to metric system to dashboarding and visualization, and even the workbook which is there where you can create advanced monitoring systems as well, which is there in the monitoring itself. So all these when you combine, uh, you don't have to manage it. It's already available for you. That's the advantage.
Yes, thank you. Another question is, I have used Grafana, but I want to know how can I add the deployment and the services and replicas in this Grafana dashboard, because I have monitored the parts like that, but I didn't got any related to deployment or any services like it should show no how the runnings all those things. It was not showing in that one.
So you mean to say you want to add services and all those things there?
Yeah, replica services and deployments.
The number of replicas, the number of services, um, all those details into Grafana dashboard.
Yes,
You mean
yes, yes, correct, correct.
it is possible. There are available dashboards. Um, I don't have it handy though, but I can share. There are available dashboards on Grafana. You can say Grafana Kubernetes Dashboard. Hopefully, I can find something. But there are dashboards. By the way, the advantage of using Grafana is the dashboards are open source, right? There is a lot of dashboards which is available. You can download the dashboard and start importing it, and then you will be able to see most of these things. So, Gate, cluster metrics. So there are a couple of dashboards. Let me do something while we do the next session.
Some
I'll try
in
and add.
some dashboard it's showing parts, in some dashboards some are not showing. Like completely it's what not showing. I found and check, but some of the dashboards showing only the parts or services, like that is just showing, but not completely all those showing.
Yeah, so it's a mix and match of those dashboard, but it's available on monitoring, our monitoring system, I believe. You can see the number of pods which is running, right? Monitoring cluster monitoring. When I open my cluster monitoring, um, so in Azure monitoring, you can actually see the containers which is running, which is to your level of containers. But if you want to see the services which is running and other things, it's also available. Just give me a minute. I think I have not shared the screen. Let me share the screen. So in cluster, when you create the cluster, just give it a minute. My network is bad. Yeah. When you open the cluster and go to the service and ingress, you can see the list of services which is running, right? And also the ingress systems which is there. So you can also see the load balancer IP addresses. You don't really have to you know try and search for this and make use of it directly. And also namespaces. You can also see the list of namespaces which is there. And if you go into the default namespace, you might even see the YAML file. Interesting. So you can see the YAML file which is there for that namespace creation, and couple of things, information related to things which we have executed and not failed scheduling and other things, whatever we have working on. So there are things which you can do here itself in Kubernetes resources itself here. But if you want to build that workbook also is possible. You can build that, and insights also available for you. Yep, I don't know about Grafana. Probably you're looking at something specific. Um, just share those details in the chat. Maybe next time, next to next week when we do this, um, while we are working with Prometheus and Grafana together with the microservices, building those alert managers and other things, maybe we can add this in the in the chat in the discussion.
Yeah, sure.
But just share the details with me so that I can build on that. Just push it on the chat so we can do it.
Yeah, sure. I will push it on chat.
Yeah, Abdul, you also had some questions.
Hello. Yes, Vivek. I have question related to
Yeah.
this logging and monitoring. So how this logging and monitoring work in production? Because till now I have only deployed that in AWS, not in production. And if we and another question related to logging, that if we like deploy the logging stack like elastic stack in Kubernetes cluster, and if
Mm.
logging fluentd, if we say fluentd is pod crashed, so how that work in production? How we gonna take the backup of logging pod?
Okay. So firstly, you need to run it is elastic stack or anything. It has to run it in a cluster. It has to be a cluster based running, and it should be available in different nodes. Okay, it's not on the same node, and it is collecting information uh, at one point, and it is also pushing that information to the single source, which is persistent volume, right? So the data
Okay.
is obviously is stored there. Okay. But when you do the Elastic Stack or the Fluentd stack, whatever the logging tool you are going to use, does not matter because the nodes which is there. Let me show you that how exactly that should work. Let me share this. Just give me a minute. We did this discussion last time. Uh, uh, where is this? This is also fine. Anyways, I'll share my screen again. I'm just disabling it because it just, save bandwidth. Sorry, folks. Anyways, so if you see this, right? So here I need to for elastic and other things, it has to be a daemon set. It should not be a replica set. It should be a daemon set. When I talk about daemon set, what does a daemon set mean? It means at least one instance of elastic will run, elastic pod will run in each of the nodes. So when it runs on each of the nodes, the scheduler makes sure the pod is running for collecting data in each of these nodes, and it is having a persistent storage. It is pushing data to persistent storage. So when you say persistent storage, it means Elastic itself is running server. I'm talking about itself is running on three different nodes and instances where it is collecting data and pushing it to the persistent storage. You got my point.
Yes. Right.
And by the way,
And
your first
yes,
question, I didn't get your first question. You talked about log and
monitoring stack. Actually, I
uh,
was asking how we deploy monitoring in production. We use Helm or something else?
yes, it's always Helm.
It's always Helm. Okay.
Um, it's always Helm. And if you see this workflow diagram, DevOps workflow diagram, it's Helm chart. So
Yes.
you actually package it as a Helm and then only deploy it.
Okay.
So s- see, in production, it's like this. You have Kubernetes cluster, which is a production cluster, and you have your application, and you know the namespaces where you want to deploy. You know the services, you know the deployment kind, which is it could be a load balancer, it could what it is. You know the basically how exactly this has to go into the production. Now you have pushed the application in production. When you push the application in production, you need to do three things. One is the three pillars of monitoring, right? One is the log management, the other is the metrics, and the last one is tracing, right? Distributed tracing, right? These are the three things which you are going to take care of when you build a monitoring system. And log management, you would use certain tools. Azure also provides you the tool. Elastic Stack is available for you. There is Fluentd and other things which is available. You're going to install those agents in these clusters. You want to push those things in the clusters and make sure that they are also running as part of the clusters with different namespaces. And if you see, when you're building a monitoring, right, the namespace itself is monitoring. And if you see my this thing as well, when I install Prometheus and other things, um, let me show you the namespace. There is a different namespace for it. So we are not using the same namespace where your production is. It's a different namespace altogether, and it is being used in different clusters. So basically, when you've done that, you're pushing the data, you're pushing the logs into a persistent storage, which is in the within the cluster where you have obviously the persistent storage works in a very different manner, right?
Yes, yes.
So if you go to the storage, we discussed this last time when we did a deep dive session with storage, where you create a specific space for yourself and you attach it to it. Uh, that is what we did. So anyways, that is one part of it. The next part of it is just trying to make uh, metrics is very important part. That is where the Azure monitoring, Azure Grafana, the Grafana integrations and other things are required. That is a visualization I'm talking about, not the alert, but the visualization. So you need to visualize what is happening, and that is what you're going to set up with the Grafana. And when it comes to alert systems and building a alert system from a very service oriented, say basically if you have microservices and you want to build alerts for each of these services and other things and very cloud native format, that is where Prometheus comes into picture. And with Grafana, it's very powerful. It provides you visualization at the back end with the Prometheus, and also you can also use visualization with Kibana and various other tools which is out there, which you can definitely make use of. This is from the view of your um, metrics. And obviously on metrics you can build a lot of alerts. That is what you can do, and it is something, there's no specific template. You can build your own templates, custom templates, various things which you can add on top of it. That is something which you can derive. And then comes the tracing. The tracing is from the application perspective. These are all metrics which we are looking at as uh, the pod CPU utilization, container which is using within under the pod CPU utilization, or you're seeing the node utilization and other things. These are all specific to the hardware which you are using, or the infrastructure which you are using. But when it comes to the application monitoring, it's different, right? You have performance issues, you have and also because of today's world where different services are talking to different services, right? For example, the PVR cinemas talking to Book My Show is very two different services which is talking to each other. So in that case, how do you build tracing? How do you know which service is not working, which service has to transact back? Those are the those are the use cases of the distributed tracing. It's an interesting talk, because covering that everything in one talk, it will confuse everyone.
Yes, yes,
That's
yes,
the
right.
reason why I'm doing it. But I'm
Yeah.
going to cover a couple of things next session. That's where we will have a discussion as well.
Okay, okay. That was nice explanation, Vivek. I got the point. Thank you.
Any other question we have? Any other question? I mean, I'm happy to take. This has been interesting for me as well because uh, from a DevOps background, which I come from, this is monitoring is the most difficult thing. Sometimes I've built monitoring with cron jobs. when I was, when I was in the startup, we had to start with cron jobs. But again, obviously, we built on these tool sets which we were using. But uh, cron jobs also does a great job in sending you details on various things. Okay, Rashmita, I think you can um, take it from here. If any questions, I'm still there.
Sure, Vivek. Thank you so much, Vivek, for the session, and thank you all for joining us today. I know we faced a little bit of technical glitch, but then sorry for that. But then, yes, thank you once again, everybody, and please feel free to do event check-in and share your feedback about today's session. It will help us to choose our topics better. Also, please visit our Microsoft Reactor Bengaluru meetup page for more upcoming session. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.